The United Kingdom announcing new sanctions on 5 Russian banks and 3 oligarchs in the energy and infrastructure industries. These will be banned from traveling to the UK and will also have their assets frozen. It's the latest response to Vladimir Putin's recognition of separatist regions in the eastern part of Ukraine and his decision to send troops to the area, saying those regions are now independent and those troops are keeping the peace. Julia Manchester from The Hill joining me now to discuss all of this. Now, first off, President Vladimir Putin coming out and declaring his stake over Russia. Quite the statement, quite a bold move. And then the U.S. responding with these limited sanctions. Is that a strong enough hand?
You know, that's the question I think everyone is asking this morning, Adrienne, but I think it's really the first step in this broader conflict that you are going to see between Russia and the West. You know, you just mentioned Prime Minister Boris Johnson in the UK announcing sanctions earlier this morning. Here in the U.S., we heard news that Germany was halting the Nord Stream pipeline from Russia. That is a major development because we know how heavily the Germans rely on Russian natural gas. So I think these sanctions are really the West sending a signal to Russia that they will not tolerate Vladimir Putin's recent announcement that he is going to be recognizing these 2 breakaway regions of Ukraine and their independence. And in that, I think Putin was essentially saying, open the door, really opening the door to moving those tanks and military equipment into those regions. It makes it easier for him to do that after he's made that announcement.
Yes, and all of this really sparked by Ukraine's interest in becoming part of NATO. There's a new poll by Ukraine's rating group showing that 62% of Ukrainians, that's an all-time high. They want their country to be part of NATO. Exactly what would that mean, and why is Putin so threatened by it?
Well, essentially, NATO was an alliance created in the 20th century to counter Russia's influence in Europe. Now, we've seen other Eastern European countries like Poland, the Czech Republic, all become a part of NATO. And it's very much been able to, been a bit of a buffer between the West and Russia. However, for Russia, Ukraine is really that last piece of the puzzle. They don't want Ukraine to go the way of NATO because that would mean the West and their influence is essentially right next door to Russia's. And we know that listening to Putin's remarks yesterday and listening to his previous thoughts about the breakup of the former Soviet Union, he has lamented this in the past. He wants to expand Russian influence into these former Soviet states, and Ukraine being right next door to Russia is a bit of a step too far for Russia. And you often hear Vladimir Putin talk about, the U.S. Violating what he says was a promise, and NATO violating a promise in the 1990s not to move past Ukraine, not to expand eastward in terms of putting together NATO. However, the U.S. says that was never a promise, and now we're in this conflict really between these 2 parts of the world.
All right, Julia Manchester, thank you so much for your insights. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to click on the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.